clear something up real quick because some of y'all have built an entire fantasy around this. Black Americans are not asking you to feel guilty. We are not asking you to apologize. And we are definitely not asking for a confession from you, personally. Acknowledging that something happened is not an apology, it's reality. And since facts seem to make people nervous, let's be clear. In 1860, only about 1.5% of American families owned enslaved people. Even in the South, about 3 out of 4 white families did not own slaves, and half of all enslaved people were owned by a small, wealthy elite. So no, this isn't about your grandma or your great-great-grandpappy. So no, Sally Johnson, nobody wants you to apologize. You are not that important. What we want is for the system to acknowledge what it did and how it still operates. Period. But here's the problem. You center yourself in every conversation, so when we talk about history, policy, or outcomes, you hear an attack. That's not because we're talking about you. It's because you think everything is about you. And let's be honest, you love to say, I'm not racist, I'm not like that, I don't see color. But your comment sections tell the truth. Birds of a feather don't just flock, they organize. Your coded language is doing exactly what you intend it to do, and the audience you're attracting looks exactly how we expect it to look. So spare us the performance, and let's be clear one last time. This is not about guilt. This is not about apologies. And it's definitely not about your feelings. This is about accuracy. It's about honesty. It's about a system telling the truth about itself. When we talk about history, policy, and outcomes, we're not asking you to center yourself. We're asking you to stop inserting yourself. There's a difference. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to confess anything. You don't need to perform innocence in the comments. Just don't lie about what happened. Don't whataboutism the conversation. And don't pretend the system magically stopped working the way it was designed to work. That's it. That's the whole ask.
You know, I find it really frustrating when people only hear what they want to hear and they don't actually hear what you're saying. When I made the video about the fake Black Panther dude that's out there threatening ICE and walking around armed and as if he's an actual Black Panther party member, I had people in the comment section that completely did not get what I was trying to say. I had somebody stitch my video. It was way off target of what I meant by the things that I said in that video. My question is, what is the expectation? Like, don't give me some BS. I just want you to fight for us. I want you to advocate for us. I don't want to hear that. I want you to say point blank, period, exactly what you want us to do as Black Americans to, I don't know, whatever your goal is with this whole situation. I don't even know what the goal is, to be honest with you. I can't even tell you what the goal is. But what is it that you expect us to do? Do not say fight for me. Do not say protest. I want you to give me an actual explanation, detail, verbatim, detail for detail. What do you want us to do? Because I'm really curious about this. And if your only answer to that question is, I don't know, then I don't want to hear nothing else about it.
Black people make everything about race. Last I checked, we never cared where y'all sat. We don't care where you sit. We never cared who you loved. We don't care where you eat. We don't care which communities you lived in. We've never cared what you did. We have never spent our entire lives literally organizing to restrict your access to do things in your life. We didn't care about how you styled your hair, the way you spoke, the music you listened to. We didn't even have real discourse surrounding it. We don't treat you any differently or side-eye you because you're in a place that we feel is for wealthy people. We don't look at all the white men that are killing children en masse at school and looking at every single last one of you in fear, as though you're going to do the same thing. Fighting for equality is not the same as oppression. Wanting the same things that you do is not the same as making everything about race. We're just trying to live our lives in peace in a place that we never really asked to be. No one cares who you guys marry. Nobody cares where you guys sit. We don't want you to have less than we do. We simply want the same rights that you have. So I think you're really mistaken when you say that we make everything about race, because historically that's never been.
Black folks know why they're here. Native peoples know why they're here and how they got here. A lot of Asian folk know, particularly if they're Chinese American, they know they got here because their ancestors were brought over to work on the railroads by the railroad barons who didn't care if thousands of them died laying track 19, 20 hours a day. But for those of us who are from Europe, we have this fiction that we've told, and we believe it. even though there's no truth to it. You know what the fiction is? It's two parts. Number one, we say things like, with regard to Mexicans coming over the border, with regard to immigrants coming over, but only that border. That's the only one we care about, right? The southern border. I find that interesting. We're not flipping out about Canada, right? We don't have any of the Minutemen or the anti-immigrant groups sitting off the coast of Nova Scotia with a gun and a scope trying to like pick off the sneaky Canadians that are trying to sneak in here for our superior healthcare system, which after all would be a pretty stupid thing to do. But in any event, we only care about that one border, forgetting for a minute that that border was created at the end of a war that was started on false pretense by this country, after which we jacked half of their country. And you weren't taught that in school either, because our history books aren't interested in telling the truth. They tell this very patriotic history that has no relationship to the fact. So that border is artificial. Mexican folk who are coming here, documented or not, let's be clear, are coming home. Their families were here before our families were here in almost every instance. But we forget that, and then we say things like, well, I don't mind them coming. I just want them to come legally like my people did. The hell does that even mean? Come legally? There was no law to break when our people came. The fact that we didn't break a law that didn't even exist, you don't get cookies for that. You don't get like a pat on the back and a gold star because your great whatever was law abiding when there was no law that he could have violated, even if he wanted to. But we've told this lie that we came for these upstanding principles. So we'll say things like, well, you know, our people came for liberty and freedom, democracy. These people are just coming for stuff. They're just coming for jobs. They're just coming for health care. They're just coming for stuff. We came for high-minded principle, right? Because we believe that. What kind of third-grade version of American history is that, right? Like when Donald Trump says, well, Mexico's not sending their best. What the hell, you think Europe sent their best? Europe? No, our people were the losers of Europe. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just telling you the truth. Like, our people were the losers of Europe. The winners didn't get on the boat. You understand what I'm saying? The winners didn't leave. Why the hell would you leave if you were winning? Only the losers left because they had no choice. They were dying. They were starving. They couldn't support their families. A lot of them were convicts who were sold into indentured servitude to work for rich European people. They were barely above the level of a slave themselves. The idea that we had these we didn't believe in liberty and freedom. And we know that because once we got to the colonies, we set up the opposite of liberty.
If you are a white person and you are dating or married to someone who is a minority and you still support Trump or ICE, you don't love or respect that person.
In America, racism is a privilege for white people and white people only. This is my most racist take ever. People of color cannot be racist. Let's do a little thought experiment. White people, walk down any street in this country that you want. Any street. Put on a hood and put on your headphones and keep your head down. How long do you think it will be before somebody calls the cops? I guarantee you the answer is fucking never. Every person of color at the exact same time could raise their hand and say, we no longer like white people. And your life would not fucking change. You would still be able to go wherever the fuck you want and say whatever the fuck you want. That is white privilege, not racism. And yet you got people on the far left saying, I'm a non-practicing white person because they actually feel guilt about the color of their skin like some fucking pussy. And you got people on the far right saying all these people are trying to make us feel guilty about being white, so they're feigning white guilt. You're all a bunch of bitches. The color of your skin should bring you neither guilt nor pride because you did nothing to earn your complexion. You were born that way, bitch. So stop having feelings about it and actually do something that's anti-racist that can help make this world a better place. It's been a while since I've said this, but if you disagree with me, just remember I'm right, you're wrong, go fuck yourself.
One of the most difficult and exhausting things about being black in this country, but especially during times like this, is seeing how frequently you stand alone when you ride for everybody else. Black people voted in the greatest percentage against Trump, and even though he ran on deportations in all three of his campaign cycles, which still isn't affecting black people, we still showed the most support against him in those policies. Deportation doesn't affect us, and still we voted against him and his policies, knowing that they would affect everyone else more than us. We literally rode for y'all harder than you rode for yourselves. Yet so many of you have spoken up against every pro-black safety empowerment, civil rights, peace movement that we've had, at least my lifetime. And don't get me wrong, there have been plenty of you who supported, and you already know I'm not talking to or about you. I'm talking about people like the Latinos that voted for Trump and sang songs about it, and then when their abuelas got deported are like, well, where are the black people standing up for us? Though, where's Kamala crowd? The group that still listens to this administration of idiots and somehow blames Barack Obama for shit that's going on right now. So consistently, this country has shown black people that being black means to be in everyone else's corner but have no one in yours. And the most frustrating part remains the reality, the knowledge that we're gonna still keep fighting. Not just for you, but for us as well, because we know that injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And if one of us isn't free, then none of us are free. Despite how frustrating it is for us that y'all can't get that through your fucking skulls.
Okay. Thumbs off the motherfucking screen. Ears wide the fuck open. I try to be careful when I make these videos because I don't want people thinking that I'm just hopping on here to hate on white people just to hate on white people, or that I'm obsessed with hating on white people or shit like that, because obviously I got a lot of love for the white allies. And honestly, that's specifically who I'm speaking to in this video. This is y'all's fight. We're fucking tired. There's a lot of battles and fights, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, that need to have attention to in this country, right? Need to be paid attention to, right? This whole race shit, this is y'all's fucking fight. We are tired. What's going on with ICE and how the federal government is backing it, and all of these fucking excuses and all of this shit that's clearly centered around race still being a fucking issue in this country, y'all go deal with the white racist motherfuckers that we are sick and tired of. Y'all want us to have a conversation in the black community about all these supposed YNs with their weapons and switches and violent shit that y'all can't provide enough evidence to back up your racist claims with. Y'all want us to have a conversation amongst the black community with all the bullshit you put on us. Y'all go have a fucking conversation amongst your fucking community about why there are not only so many white racist people, but why so many non-racist white people allow their friends to be racist or have this negative opinion about black people or immigrants or Latino people or Indian people or whoever the fuck it may be. Letting it slide with your goddamn friends is, you're still part of the fucking problem. Y'all go fucking deal with it. We've heard Renee's name a lot more than we have Keith Porter Jr.'s. And I'm not saying that any tragedy deserves more sympathy, empathy, care, anything like that. But we all saw the country wake up when a white woman lost her life tragically, compared to all the other bullshit we've seen over the years, right? It's hard for me to have these conversations because I don't want to accuse a non-racist white person, or especially an ally, of not fighting the fight or not being a part of it. But like, this is y'all shit. This is not a fight for black people or immigrants or any fucking minority to come up and solve for white people. We're not fixing white people problems anymore. You know how much shit we fixed and done for white people? And we still have fucking supremacists, racists, environmental racism with these fucking data centers. They try to hit us from every motherfucking angle. Some of the most disgusting shit we've seen in a very, very long time. Modern day Nazi America. Immigrants not safe, Latino families being ripped apart, people being approached just because they have a fucking accent. This is y'all's problem to go outside and fucking fix, because it's your fucking people constantly bringing it up. I understand this is a human being issue, a human being problem, a negative moment in history in the entire scope of human existence. I get that. But if we look through history, it's been y'all a lot with this race shit. We're fucking tired. Don't you understand? People just want to live their lives and not have to like pause their goals or their dreams or their happiness to focus on this giant fucking enemy we have to deal with over and over and over and over again, y'all go beat the fucking enemy. It looks a lot like y'all. It's so fucking annoying. It's so fucking annoying to see the group of people who are victimized the least by racism constantly act like it's just some issue we can solve later down the line. But when that racism and that prejudice and that evil, when it ramps up to something as disgusting as a modern day ICE agent, and that ICE agent who shouldn't be in the field to fucking begin with takes the life of a woman that looks like y'all, now we got to ramp up the action and all the stuff we're doing against ICE and stuff like that. More than 30 people died in ICE custody last year. Over 100 U.S. citizens have been arrested by ICE. These are the stories that have been reported. You know there's tons that never got coverage whatsoever. Y'all heard about Alligator Alcatraz. The response from y'all specifically is not enough, because for some reason in this country we don't see real change until y'all do something, until y'all respond. So this is your fucking battle. I don't want to defeat ICE and MAGA and racism and all this bullshit again in 2026. And then in 2034, it comes back in a different form. Y'all go win the fucking battle. We are sick of this shit. Motherfuckers just want to go Monday through Sunday and live the best possible life they can on this floating, spinning fucking rock we all have a finite amount of time on. And for too fucking long, this whole racism bullshit has stopped millions, billions of people over the course of history from doing exactly that. Just enjoying their fucking life. Y'all go fix this goddamn problem.
Black Americans, we really need to have a chat, because I remember when Kamala lost the election, we said we weren't going outside. And we said white people, specifically white women, need to come to the front lines. We said we were no longer putting our bodies at jeopardy, and that white people, specifically white women, needed to put their bodies at jeopardy. And now that a white woman has actually done that, the narrative that I'm seeing is, oh, well, I'm not going to care about her. You're not going to see me drop no tears because one of their own fucked around and found out. You told them to show up. You told them to do more. And now I see some of you putting out content and having live panels where you are literally disrespecting what she did. Yes, white people should have acted sooner and should have done more a long time ago. But which one do we want? Because that's not going to encourage them to help further. And let's be clear, going against ICE is going against people who are against our community. You know, Keith Porter died first, right? And let's be crystal clear. Black people could have done more too. We could have prevented some of this stuff from happening to us too, because less than 50% of our voting population showed up to the polls. Remember that? It's easy to throw the rock and hide your hand. It's easy to not take accountability and point the finger. But if you're out here spreading the narrative that what Renee did is a oh well and we shouldn't care, please unfollow me expeditiously, because I don't want to be no parts of that conversation. And this isn't me taking up for white women. This is me saying that if you want solidarity amongst us, if you want to see action for our causes from that community, we need to support them when they do it. Not shit on their grave.
One of the things that is happening now is virtually everything we're seeing right now. Somebody predicted. Everything this Trump administration is doing right now was already foretold. People knew it. And to the nth degree, they're telling you what happened.
Under our present president, you said he would prosecute his political enemies. He would cut Medicaid, Medicare. He would ignore court orders. He would alienate our allies. He would give massive tax cuts to the rich.
Remember what they did to tear families apart. And now they have pledged to carry out the largest deportation, a mass deportation in American history. Imagine what that would look like and what that would be. How's that going to happen? Massive raids? Massive detention camps? What are they talking about?
Another interesting phenomenon is that 92% of black women who voted, 85% of black men who voted for Harris. Also, the largest percentage of white people, college-educated white people, voted the same way. And that is because nobody knows this kind of white dude like black people. We didn't go to school to do it. We didn't have classes to do it. We watched them, and we had grandfathers and fathers and mothers who watched them. This is not new. This is retro. This is all something we've seen before. Different packages, different technology. How is it that black people that had the same voting structure as college-educated white dude? How is it that a dude that went to Harvard voted the same way as a dude who lived on Harvard? Is it because there is no greater expert on white dudes like this than black people? And not because we went to school, like I said earlier. It's because we've seen them. We saw history. College-educated white people learned it. And the best indicator of what somebody will do is what they have done. That's history. That's what they have done. We know you. Everything that you are doing was foretold you would do. And it was a black woman who told you it was going to happen. And all of us knew it. You don't see any black people, pretty much, or college-educated white people going, I can't believe it, because we can. We knew it was going to happen because we know you. We know who you are. We know your instincts. You know your inclinations. We know that you will do what you want to do unchecked, and this is him unchecked. And he is no different than the dudes that my great-grandfather saw, or his great-grandfather saw, or his grandfather saw, or my father saw. You are familiar to us. You are the usual suspect.
The same way Trump backstabbed y'all after y'all helped to get him put into office is the same thing y'all did to us when y'all went in that voting booth and voted for him. The only difference between us and y'all is we've learned our lesson when it comes to y'all. Y'all should have learned y'all lesson the last time he was in office, and y'all didn't. We've learned our lesson when it comes to y'all. We will never try to team up with y'all again against the common enemy. We can't trust y'all. We can't trust y'all. Y'all want to be on the side of white people too bad. And y'all will do anything to do it. Y'all will screw us over and your abuela.